What is your philosophy when it comes to using managers in client portfolios?
Yeah, so going back to that first step, how I said how much Australian equities we want, how much international equities, and then you've got the sub-asset allocation decisions. Do you want to go into small caps? Do you want to hedge? Do you want to unhedged? All those issues become part of the process. But let's say we're looking at international equities. We're agnostic to whether it's active, passive, smart beta, quantitative. We just want the best outcome for a client. This is the index. Maybe it's best just to go into the index. If that's the best solution for that asset class, we will do it. But for managers that do come out, we generally try to create a list of all the options. I mean, there's lots of business development managers in the industry all trying to sell you things. Great, I will listen and hear your pitch, and you're kind of doing research all the time. But when we're looking for new international equities manager, and I'll keep it active because that's kind of what requires more detail and more in depth. But we start with, we usually request an FSC or DDQ, which gives you a question. It's just like a questionnaire, standard questionnaire that gives you the answers to a lot of the questions about the people, process, and around the organization. We'll then look to set up a meeting with the portfolio managers, and we go through what's like the 5 Ps. We don't explicitly say this, but it goes through philosophy, people, process, performance, and price. Each one of those has a separate set of questions, and it will differ for each manager. But like, take philosophy. What we're trying to get here is, what's your edge on the market? Why is this strategy going to work? Why wouldn't it work? Is it sustainable? Can it scale? So it might work at 100 mil, might work at 50,000. Like, it's going to work at $2 billion. Like, we need to understand the strategy, how it works. So that's part of the philosophy. Part of the people, we want to understand who's the key decision makers. If there's a key decision maker, is the firm profitable? Process, you're looking with how repeatable is it? Did it work just in this part of the market? Does it work elsewhere? Has there been any changes to the process throughout the history? Like, it should have a long-term track record. Has that process changed through time? Then you're looking at performance. So this is part with the manager, and then we also use external analytics software to kind of look at upside capture, downside capture. Basically, how is it performed in different areas of the market? So we can see whether it's performed over the longer term, but maybe we can break it down into year. We can look at Sharpe ratios like the risk-adjusted ratio. We can look at what upside, downside capture is, like how much does it outperform or underperform in up markets versus how much does it underperform in down markets. So it kind of just lets us know where it fits in the portfolio if we're going to introduce that manager. And then finally, on price, of course, we want the lowest price for clients, and we will say, we will push as high as we can to get the lowest price, manager rebates, lower fee classes. And that process is ongoing. It's not a one set and forget. It's something we'll constantly revisit through the year. And just because we've met a manager, passed out things, we're comfortable with it, we will follow it for a little while, get a bit of understanding. We set up alerts to the research houses, so if anything is happening there that they're not telling us. There's also reading stuff in the financial media. You might hear some. I mean, not as unfortunate as it is, a lot of that stuff, like if there's something happening in their personal lives, that can affect stock picking and things like that. So it's something you just have to be aware of and cognizant of. And just meeting the manager regularly, you can see changes in behavior, how they're acting. Maybe they're sending the analyst. Maybe we like to meet others in the team instead of just meeting that key PM. Are they saying the same thing? Is there any discrepancies? So this is more for an active manager where they're actually doing their own fundamental stock analysis. Slightly different processes if it's a quant fund. If it's a slightly different process if it's just a passive vehicle, which is pretty straightforward, where we're just looking at some simple things.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like that 5 Ps. I reckon whether you're an advisor or whether you're just a individual investor, it's a good framework to start thinking about some of these things.
Yes.
There's a bunch of directions I could follow up, but one that really caught my ear as you were explaining it, on the people side, you said, is it just a single decision maker or is it decisions by committee?
Yep.
And I reckon the industry would be split on what they want to see there. There's probably some more stability with the committee making decisions there, but there's a certain love or affinity of a maverick stock picker that goes against the grain and makes big calls and gets them right.
Yep.
Where do you sit on that divide, or like, I'm sure there's people that fit both categories. How do you?
Yeah, so again, this is for a fundamental stock picking fun. There's a lot of literature on it, actually. There's a lot of studies. I think 3's been decided as the best, followed by 5.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's
Okay.
3 on an
Yeah.
investment committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 decision makers. It's not something that we're going to just rule out. Yes, no, you have this many, you got to put someone on. But I guess that's just, you have to have someone that's be able to challenge the other person in the room, someone that's comfortable to do that. I think an unequal number obviously helps.
Yeah.
And then also making sure that, are they training analysts? Is there a team supporting it? There's others that have analyst teams of 100, and then there's others that have analyst teams of 5. There's nothing wrong or right. Some people systemize other things, but it's just something you got to understand. Who's the key decision makers? Because it's not just the stocks in. What weight does it go into the portfolio? When does it get sold? When does it get trimmed? All those factors.